What do you think happens after death? Is life worth living? Well, after you die, it seems to me that you rot away, and that's it. Nobody cares. It seems to me that when you die, nobody really cares. That's something that we don't like to hear, right? We love to hear that we are special. We love to hear that we are the most important thing. We love to think that we are somehow the most precious, amazing beings in the universe. But there's a lot of freedom that comes about when you acknowledge and concede that nothing happens after you die. A lot of even, I would say, peace. Because you stop expecting there to be something magical. You stop expecting there to be a big show. And this becomes the big show, right? Your life now becomes the show. So in that sense, when I die, I will go away and rot away and nobody will care. But that makes me feel more appreciative of my life now, right? Look at how precious life is now if there's no afterlife. This is all we got, the one chance we have to make a big impact, right? To do something beneficial for my descendants and our future people. That's my goal, right? My purpose is to help people make the world a better place. Leave it better off than you got here. So people, yes, it changes everything for you. People are often scared to concede that we aren't special or that we die and nothing happens and there is no afterlife. That's a very hard thing for people to grasp. But once you do, it's a game changer for how you see the world. You see it in a more appreciative way. Now every day becomes a gift. Every day becomes something magical because, wow, I get to experience another day. I get to experience friends, family, people doing amazing things. I get to experience, right? This experience becomes so valuable when you recognize it's finite. So now it's like, to me, if we live forever, if we live forever, if there is an afterlife, well, then what's the point of this life? That's an even better question to ask, I think. Having an afterlife doesn't really make this life seem all that amazing. When it is. And we don't need an afterlife. How will the universe end? Big rip, big crunch, or big freeze? Well, all three of them could be true at the same time, and that's the scary part. But I don't know. I suspect that it will be a big rip, but who knows? After that, something could happen where it collapses again, or who knows? We don't know what could be the case. Do you think we reincarnate after we pass? No. Asking these questions, where do I go when I die? Or do you think we reincarnate? Right? These questions are so selfish because you're asking them with the implication that you are somehow central to existence, that the universe cares about you, that you are owed an afterlife, that you are owed more life. I think that's pretty selfish to me. I think that a life where you acknowledge that we're finite and that you die and that's it, I think that's a more valuable life. I care about me and where I go. Yeah, that's selfish, right? Where do I go? Where's my afterlife? Where's my reward? Right? You're expecting an afterlife. You're expecting a reward for being alive. Think about it. That's why religions were invented, right? They make you feel like you're owed rewards. You're owed an afterlife. You're owed love. You're owed justice, right? All my enemies will be killed. They will all be judged, right? It's a completely selfish thing. Religion is completely selfish. It's all about you being the center of the universe, right? Everything was made for me. Everything was here for me. The animals are here for me. The earth is perfectly placed for me. It's all about me, 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 me. God made me perfectly. I'm the chosen one. The world was made for me, right? Everything's about you, you, you. That's a clear sign to me that you're making this shit up and that you're being a selfish person. Can climate change be the cause of the end of the world? Well, the world will always be here. Climate change is not going to destroy the planet, but it can destroy our society. That's the problem, right? Climate change is not about the earth. It's about society and the animals and life. The earth will be fine. The earth is a big rock. Nothing can destroy it unless the sun expands. But we won't be here, right? We will definitely be extinct if climate change continues. That's a problem, you know? Why are you vegan? Because I value life. I value sentience. I value experience. See, because I recognize how finite we are, I recognize how valuable we are, how valuable every person is, and how valuable every sentient being is, how rich of an experience we have, and how precious the experience is. Just looking around at how rare life is in the universe. I mean, look at how many things that happened for us to be here. That's remarkable, and life is remarkable. So that's why I don't want to harm it. It's remarkable. It's a remarkable experience. So I'm a vegan because I want to minimize and reduce the amount of harm I'm causing others, because life is precious to me. You know, whatever this experience is, I value it. Whether there's a God or not, I think life is fucking amazing. In fact, it's even more amazing if there is no God. Think of how incredible life is if there's no God. We are here by, like, the theists always try to shun this idea away because they can't fathom a universe that is natural. They can't fathom a universe that is like the one we exist in because it's too improbable. But what if it is chance that we're here? What if it is by chance? Well, that's remarkable that we got here, that we are able to be these amazing beings who can think and hear and see and experience and love and find out things about the universe and explore it. That, by chance? All this happening by chance? Natural coincidence and probability? That's amazing. That's remarkable. That's even more remarkable than a God doing it. Because if God exists, of course God can do it. He's God. He can do anything. It's like Picasso painting a stick figure. It's like nobody says congratulations. It's not that hard for him. Same with God. God is infinitely powerful. He could have made a better world than this. God could have made a world where everybody has billions of dollars and everybody's rich and everybody has all the money in the world and everybody has resources and water. God could have made a world where everybody has access to food, water, shelter, everybody's peaceful, everybody loves one another, there's no wars, there's no fighting. That's a better world than this one. But he didn't make it. So if your God made this world, he did a shitty job. But if this experience is a product of probability, that is remarkable. That's amazing. I'm from New Zealand, and now we have a Christian as a prime minister. Well, I mean, there's only so much that a president or prime minister can do. This is not... I mean, 2,000 years ago, it's a different story, right? 1,500 years ago, the governments were completely controlled by religious people. They would force it on people. And that we don't see much of today in the Western world, thankfully. When do you think a new religion will be made? Always. Religions are always being made. It's a constant thing, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with religion inherently. I think that religion is an expression of human imagination. It's creativity. It's great, right? And in many respects, Marvel is religion. I mean, look at all the characters. Spider-Man, Batman, Thor, right? All these different characters that we make up, those are religion. Those are religion, right? We dress up as these characters. We do their ritual. We say their logo. We recite their sayings. We act like them, right? And for those 2 hours in that movie theater, or at, VidCon or whatever, we feel as if, we are part of that experience. That's religion. That's a clear modern sign of religion. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what's wrong is if you think those are real, right? What the bad part is when you go to a movie theater and think that was a real thing, right? When you go see Spider-Man and you think that's a real thing, and now you're looking around for Spider-Man. That is where religion goes wrong. We are susceptible to delusion, and when you're stuck in these belief systems, they make you feel like they're right, and you can't change, and you attach yourself to these ideas. And that's what religion does. Some of these toxic religions make you feel like you have to believe in it or you will get punished for not believing in it. And that's what they do, to lure you in. Your video on Big Bang plants was amazing. Thank you. God gave us free will. Nobody has to be here. Yeah, free will doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense if you are illiterate in science, but when you understand physics, you realize that everything that we are doing is a product of our particles or our atoms. There's no free will anywhere. It's not possible. to me, because what is really free, right? What is really free if we are just succumbing to the laws of nature, right? If I'm in a simulation or in a video game where there are apparent laws that you must follow, well, do video game characters have any freedom? No, they're just part of the game, right? They're just going through the motions. So in that sense, the universe could be that way, where we are just going through the motions, and for this time, because we're aware of what's happening, because we can sense things, it feels like we have choices, but I don't think that there's any room for choices or free choices. Why are you not a nihilist? I am a nihilist, but that's not a bad thing. You can be an optimistic nihilist who recognizes that there is no ultimate purpose, but you can make your own purpose, subjectively speaking, and that's enough. I don't need to attach myself to some objective purpose for life. That doesn't bother me that there is no objective purpose. There's enough around me. There's enough things happening around me. There's enough things I can do that give me purpose. So it's like I don't need a God. I don't need anything beyond my life now. Veganism does not mean you can't kill. It means you want to minimize cruelty as much as you can. It doesn't mean that we're all perfect and that we never kill and that we never do. No, that's not what veganism is. It's about minimizing or reducing harm and cruelty. So, if there is a population of animals who there's no other way to combat them, well then we might have to take a look at our options. But we should exhaust all non-lethal options before we resort to the lethal options. That's all. It's about being responsible with our actions in regards to sentient life. Free will and free choice are not the same thing. Well, I don't know about that. What's the difference? Free the whales? Well, yeah, humans are ignorant on the animals. We don't know who they are. We don't know. There's an underlying disconnect between us and nature. We think that we are separate from nature. We think that we are somehow above it. So we view animals as objects, as things we get to exploit. I think that's wrong. Yes, when you die, there's no afterlife. Get over it. Look at how human this question is. Where do I go when I die? It doesn't make... People can't grasp death. So they think that there is no death, right? We can't fathom not being alive. It's not possible for us to do. So, in our ignorance, we shun the idea away that there's no experience when you die. We assume that we live on because we are, one, selfish, we want to live on, and two, we don't understand what death means. It's not an intuitive thing to think about. How are you getting on tonight? How do you know? Well, there's no evidence to the counter side. Do you have any evidence that when you die you go up somewhere? Do you rise somewhere? I don't see any evidence of that. If there is, I'd love to see it. Where is it? That'd be great. Death is terrifying. That's another reason why people believe in the afterlife. It's scary to think that when you die, nothing happens. It's scary for us. I mean, not to me, but for many people, it's scary. But once you let go of that notion, once you detach yourself from the expectation of an afterlife, everything becomes more free. In a sense, you feel less. Your mind is less cloudy. You're able to fully live and extract more from life. I don't know what to believe. I just don't want to get punished. You're not going to get punished. This is one of the biggest problems with religion. It makes you feel like you're going to be punished for being a non-believer. It's the author of confusion. People are afraid of hell. This is one of the things that keeps people religious. I think the biggest thing, the fear of hell. But you're not gonna. That fear doesn't just escape in a day. It will escape you, but it just takes time. It just takes time for you to grasp the fact that whether or not there's a God, I have more dignity than to pretend for the sake of, going to heaven. I will never pretend to go to heaven or pretend to believe in God because I want to get to heaven. That's very dumb to me. To me, it's like I'd rather be in hell than worshiping God. That's the way I see it. Why would God punish us for using our brains and questioning Him? If it exists, why would it punish us for questioning it? That's not a loving thing to do to me. So if that God exists who punishes me for not believing in it or loving it back, I think that's not worthy of worship in the first place. I'd rather burn in hell than worship that thing. So, but that's how you really get rid of the fear. You just realize how stupid it is. But it takes time. I get scared when I sleep. Just keep learning, guys. Keep learning. That's the more you learn, the more that that fear will fade away. Ignorance is fear. Ignorance is just another way of saying you're fearful. So the more you learn, the less you're scared. Do you think people make up those near-death experiences? No, nobody's making up their experience. But the problem is not that they're making it up. The problem is that they don't know what the experience was. That's the problem, right? The problem is not that people don't have experiences. It's that they don't understand what the experience was. So they attribute it to God. That's the problem. And when you have people propagating the idea that their experience must have been God or must have been Jesus, or that they saw hell because they had a dream that was scary, that is the issue. You know, you can scroll on videos after video of people, you know, who claim to have been to hell because they had a dream or because they had a near-death experience, when it was just a hallucination. The comment section will be full of people going, yes, God is real. That's amazing. Let's all pray. Let's not end up here. Because it's confirmation bias, right? Don't succumb to confirmation bias. But that's where TikTok and YouTube, these are perfect mediums for people to practice their confirmation bias. Because you look at the video, you like it, right? Then you see thousands of comments who agree with you. People who share the same stupid belief as you do. That's the problem. Plus, the algorithm is set so that you keep seeing these videos over and over again. Even more confirmation bias. This is the problem with with scientific illiteracy. When you're not asking the right questions, when you're not skeptically interrogating the things people tell you, when you're not able to distinguish what's true from what's false, when you're not able to understand what an appeal to authority is, or how the methodology of science works, when you don't understand these things, you're going to fall victim to these scams. And that's what I'm trying to protect you guys from, right? I don't want people to be scammed. And I don't want people to be confused. You don't have to be confused. That's why I do what I do. It's not about making you an atheist. It's about making you a critical thinker, right? Regardless of what you believe. I don't care if you're Christian or not. What I care about is, are you asking the right questions before you believe in it, right? And are you actually skeptical about what someone says to you? And do you actually believe in the things that are based on evidence? That is the hardest part. What is your opinion on people that claim to get messages from the deceased? Prove it. Show it. Give me the evidence for that. I would love to talk to my deceased family members. That'd be great. Can you demonstrate how I can do it? Can you give me that method and then I can replicate it? Can I replicate it? Can I do it on my own terms? You know, people who claim to talk to their dead family members, well, how do they do it? They surely aren't something magical. They're human just like me. So if they can do it, why can't I do it? What's stopping me from doing it? So go ahead, show me how to do it, and I'll do it. And let's bring in the scientists. Let's study it. But until that day, there's no reason to believe in that. Also, we know that the brain is a very shitty thing. Hallucinations are common. Like if you look at the statistics on this, it's like 10% of people on the planet have had a hallucination. 10% of that's 800 million people. 800 million people have had hallucinations at least once in their lifetime. Because our brains are bad. They hear things that don't actually exist outside of our brains. We see things that don't actually exist outside of our brains. The brain is what actually produces your sights and hearing. Everything you experience is filtered by your brain, filtered into your brain. So when you hear voices, or when you see people, or see visions, these are things that the brain is doing. So if you're going to say that you can see your dead grandpa, well, how do you know it wasn't just a dream or hallucination of a time when you saw him before? Where your brain can assemble all kinds of different thoughts subconsciously. How do you know it wasn't that? There's auditory hallucinations. People hear things that don't really exist. Regardless of what is true, we should all have the ability to ask the right questions. How would God have to prove himself to you? Well, if your God exists, he surely has the ability to reveal himself to me in any way he wants to. He didn't do it yet. If God exists, he knows the way which would convince me that he exists. God knows how to reveal himself to me in a way that would demonstrate he exists to me. That would convince me. Your God knows that way. So either A, he doesn't exist, or he didn't do it yet. Which one? Pick your poison. Right? That's the problem. If God exists, he knows how to convince me that he does. So either he didn't show me yet, or he doesn't exist. But the word God is very, very ambiguous. It doesn't mean anything useful, It's just a placeholder for things that people, it's a personal being. It's a conglomeration of different egotistical notions, right? It loves me, it cares for me, it watches over me, it gives me advice, it guides me. These are clearly human things, clearly made up by our brains. It's just, what are the chances that the creator of the universe cares about you and where you put your genitals and what you say and what you believe and what you pray about and what you eat and what church you go to and what denomination you are? What are the chances of that? I don't know. I mean, the universe is pretty grand. 94 billion light years across, countless stars and planets. The idea that we are somehow the only important ones, or the most important ones, doesn't seem very, very objective to me. Either the universe is infinite or God is infinite. Nope, God is not a possibility. It's just a word. God isn't possible. It doesn't mean anything at all. It's just a word. You have to define God first before you can say it's possible. who says we're the most important? Your religion does. You think that the entire universe was made for you. You think that God cares about your choices. And he's watching your choices closely to make sure that you're doing the right or wrong things. I mean, look at how egotistical this thing is. It's always watching you and looking out for you and taking care of you and giving you gifts and giving you rewards and giving you help and answering your prayers. Think of how personal this is. It's too personal. It's too personal to be coincidence. It's gotta be something you made up in your head. I mean, it's clearly in alignment with everything you want and hope for and expect. What are the chances that the creator of the universe aligns exactly with our expectations and wants and desires? I don't know. God could have made many creations in the universe. Who's to say we're the only ones? But that's not, you're missing the point. The point is that you think we are so special, right? Like, look at the actions. Like, if we take a look at the Bible, right? Your God flooded the planet because he got angry at somebody who, disobeyed him. That is, to me, a clear indicator that your God thinks we are somehow special, right? There's some importance to us. It doesn't matter how many other aliens are out there. The point is that your God has a peculiar obsession with us. Your God's obsessed with us. Holy shit, I just thought of something. Every time somebody says, why are you so obsessed with God? I'll say, why is God obsessed with me? I just thought about that. Why is your God so obsessed with me? He cares what I do. He cares what I drink. He cares what I say. He cares what I believe. He cares where I put my genitals. He cares everything about me. He cares what I think, down to a T. He cares about every atom of my body. Does the internal structure of quarks look similar to the galactic structure? No. Well, guys, our brains evolved to seek patterns. That's what we do. We experience the world through our brains, right? Our brains are subjective. So when we look at patterns in the universe, it is so intuitive for us to say that there's some correlation. But in actuality, that's just perhaps an illusion brought about by the brain. Because we evolved to look for similarities. We evolved to look for these things. So before you say that there's a pattern in the universe, I think that we should be cautious. Perhaps there is no correlation. It's just an illusion. Hello? I don't have a PhD. Don't say hi to me. Hi. Let me on your live. Let's chat. I don't feel like talking to people. I get sick of it. You guys don't see it, but mentally speaking, it's very abusive to me for people to yap all day. Don't understand me, don't understand the science, or dishonest. It's very mentally abusing. Frustrating. But there's always a reason why I go back and keep debating. There's a reason why. Is taste and scent objective or subjective? Again, your brain is what your experience is. Well, your entire body, but your brain is what generates and processes your experience of taste and sound and sight. Would you respect a believer of God or see them as inferior? I don't see anybody as inferior. I don't care about you personally, right? I don't look at a Christian and go, "Oh, they are just bad." The belief is stupid, right? The belief is bad. The belief is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some ignorant people, but for the most part, most Christians are not dumb. Most people aren't dumb. People are smart. But the beliefs people have are often misleading, or people are being misled into believing in them. We are just chemicals along for the ride. When I think of religion or Christianity, I think of all the billions of people that existed before these religions. And I put myself in their shoes. And looking back in retrospect, it's like the idea that your God would produce hundreds of billions or billions of people before us, such that he never revealed himself to them. They don't even understand what religion is or Christianity is. Or Islam is. They have no understanding at all of these religions. That tells me that they're probably not that important. It's like, guys, when you understand, that's why I'm saying knowledge is key. Education is key, because when you understand history, when you understand science, when you understand all these things, your perspective of life is greatly empowered. It's greatly changed because it's more broader. And that allows you to see more things that other people can't, who have a more, keener sense of what they believe. Can you explain abiogenesis? Abiogenesis. So when you ask the question, well, what is life? Where does life come from? We have to ask, what is life? Life is not an object, right? Life is a process. It's a biochemical process that emerges from matter. Just like our experience is not. There's no object of experience or consciousness. There's no particle of consciousness. It is an emergent phenomenon. So when we talk, this is key for understanding abiogenesis, because you realize that the first living things were very simple molecules, very simple molecular structure, very simple RNA. But the point is that simple organic compounds interact chemically together in ways that yield a more complex molecule. And with enough complexity, replication is an emergent process where things are able to replicate. Cells replicate, they divide, and natural selection begins. The fittest of the survival of the fittest. The cells, the living things who are fittest to survive, they pass on their genes, and ones who don't die. Point, I'm not here to be Bill Nye. I'm here to give you the big ideas. Studying the human body solidifies my belief in Allah. Oh yeah, go ahead and study how many people choke to death on their food. That's a stupid design. What kind of God would design our bodies like this? We get diseases, parasites, cancers, mutations, disorders, allergies. Look at how stupid allergies is. Our bodies are attacking itself. Autoimmune diseases. Our bodies attack themselves? That's stupid. That's a stupid design. Choking. One hole to eat and breathe from. That's stupid. That's stupid. How about eating or drinking? Why would you design a being to constantly have to drink and eat every day? And if they don't, they die. That's not a good design. That's a terrible design. Yeah, look at our eyesight. Our eyesight's terrible. We can barely see a fraction of the entire light spectrum. We have poor vision. We can barely see very far. Or too close and it becomes blurry. The fact that we can produce a simple device, like a piece of glasses, that make our eyesight better, that tells me that there is no intelligence behind our design. It's whoever designed it has to go back to school. They failed. Because if measly apes can produce glasses that can fix our eyesight, in what? How long did it take us to do this? At most a couple thousand years. I think that's a key indicator that your God is a very dumb thing. It couldn't even get our eyesight right. Your hate of the design doesn't just, oh my gosh, I don't hate the design. I don't hate God. There is no reason. The point you missed is that there's no reason to think God did it. And if it did, it's not a good indicator that it's intelligent. Another egotistical thing to think that there's somebody making us, right? Look at how egotistical creation is. Oh, everything was created by God. We are special. There's somebody making me. Somebody made me, not the rocks. Me. Somebody designed me. I'm special. I'm complex. There's got to be some intelligence behind this. Because I'm so intelligent. I'm so complex. Look at how egotistical that is. Well, my eyesight is okay. Nearsightedness. But, after maybe 10 feet, it gets blurry. I can't see too far. What would you do if you woke up on the day of judgment? Yeah, it's clear that you don't actually care for truth. You just care about confirming your already held beliefs. The moment somebody says, "Oh, I'm a scientist," and that's just reaffirming God, or that just makes me believe in God more. That's just them. That's just confirmation bias. That screams confirmation bias to me. Because there's nothing about our bodies that signify God exists. But what would I say? What would your God say to me? That's a better question. Why do you religious people always ask this as if this is a gotcha moment? Why? What would your God say? If your God would say that I'm a bad person, well, what does that tell me about your God? Your God's a piece of shit. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a sinner. I'm not a bad guy. And there was no ill intent in me not believing in God. I didn't reject it. I simply didn't find evidence for it. And if your God is going to punish me for that, well then fuck it. I'd rather not worship it. So I don't give a shit about Judgment Day. Your God has got to be judged. Your God's going to be judged. That's the thing. That's the judgment. That's the real Judgment Day. When your God is judged. So how is your God going to explain himself to me? Islam welcomes you. Islam does not welcome me. Islam wants to kill me. Islam wants to behead me. Islam is not a religion of peace. It's a religion of violence and bigotry. Why can't everybody have 20/20 vision? Well, it depends on how you develop in the womb. Depends on how your parents were, the genes you have. How do you explain exorcisms? They don't exist. They're acts, they're games, they're not real. Anybody can pretend to be exercised. Anybody can pretend. How can humans be so intelligent compared to animals? We're not intelligent, we're dumb. We're destroying our own planet. We're fighting each other. We go to war with each other for no reason. That's not intelligent to me. You can't deny the incredible human intelligence. We're not intelligent. No intelligent being would believe in these dumb religions. We're not intelligent. Yeah, AI is more intelligent than... literally, ChatGPT is more intelligent than most people. But more importantly, People overestimate our intelligence and they underestimate the animals' intelligences. There's much more similarity than there is differences between us and the other animals, especially the apes. Gorillas, bonobos, chimps, incredibly smart animals. Incredibly smart. There's a video on YouTube of a bonobo playing Minecraft. Bonobos have ethics, they have morality, they have social hierarchies. They don't fight very often. In fact, they resolve fights with sex. They are very, very intelligent beings. In fact, fuck, they're more prosperous than we are. They're just chilling in the forest. We're over here destroying our planet, killing everything we see, warring with each other, fighting over each other, believing in these stupid things, neglecting science. We're the dumb ones. Animals don't have science. They do. Science is not a... Science is lifting up a rock to find worms underneath it. Science is taking a stick and poking a beehive to see the bees come out. That's science, right? Science at the most fundamental level is a way of interrogating the world, poking the universe, seeing what happens back. And most apes do that. We're not the only ones who do that. We are just able to take these experiences and expound on them in ways that the animals don't do. But that doesn't mean that we are somehow these special beings. It means that we have more, a little bit more intellect. Show me a monkey creating diamonds in labs. Take a person from 10,000 years ago and compare him to modern day chimp. There's very little difference. Very little difference between a caveman from just 10,000 years ago versus a chimp. See, it's not that individually we are somehow special. It's that collectively, when humans developed language, we were able to pass down our knowledge, and this was like a piggyback for other descendants to use that information, right? It's called standing on the shoulders of giants. That's what expedited the process of human society and knowledge, right? It was when we worked together, and our collective knowledge is what makes us great. It's not individual. It's not that any individual is smarter. It's that collectively we were able to produce something great. Wars started by atheists. Religion, sure, atheists do bad things, can do bad things, but there is no atheistic ideology. Nobody is killing someone in the name of atheism. That's never happened, because there is no such doctrine of atheism. It doesn't exist. However, religion has a doctrine, and embedded in the doctrine is violence and hatred. That is the start of wars. The doctrine is what poisons people, not the person. But the point is that today, religion is a very negative source of bigotry, hatred, and ignorance. Religion has done way more damage than anything I've ever seen. And it's not just war. Right? We're talking like religious people kicking out their children because of their sexuality or because of their beliefs or their actions that their parents thought were bad or sin. That's the point, right? There's a lot deeper issues than just war on a global scale. We're talking on an individual scale, on an individual basis. Religion can cause lots of harm. I know a family who their parents, I know a gay guy who his parents were or rejected being at their wedding because they didn't want their kids to be gay. See, this is a deeper issue. Religion infiltrates way deeper than just war. Way deeper in our lives. That's something that you don't understand, that religious people often miss and don't understand, because they don't see it as being bad, right? That's the biggest issue. You don't see all this anti-gay, anti-trans rhetoric as being bad because you think it's okay. You think that your religion allows it. But you're missing all the harm it's causing. And that's the biggest issue. It's the ignorance that religion propagates. That's the biggest problem. That's bigger than any war. It's the continued ignorance that religion fosters. Bigotry and the hatred and the violent rhetoric. That's even deeper. Religious people have done a lot of good. Okay. But why? Like, what was their motive? Oftentimes, religious people feel like if they do something good, they will get more rewards in heaven. See? There is a selfish motive within religious morality. There's a selfishness there. There's a selfish aspect to it. Because when you do things that are good, you are doing it because you think that you will get a reward. Or that God will give you, what's the word? God will forgive you, right? I will do these good things in exchange for God's, forgiveness. Or I will do these good things so that God could keep me in his good graces. That's the problem religious morality has. Also, the fear of consequences, right? If I do this bad thing, oh, I don't want to do the bad thing because I might get punished for it. So let me do this good thing, right? That's another selfish aspect. Whereas someone like me who is secular, I don't do good. There is no reward or consequence. So when I do something good, now I'm doing it because I really want to. I wasn't influenced by anything but myself. And that is a more pure form of morality than any religion could be. Everything humans do is selfish. I disagree. I disagree. Why am I vegan? If I was selfish, I'd be eating at McDonald's. But why am I vegan? Because I don't want to harm the animals. Why do the people in Israel protect their children from the terrorists? They were not being selfish. They were trying to help their kid. There are many reasonings as to why people do things. But the point that you're missing is that religious morality, if you stick to religious morality purely, it is a very demented, twisted sense of good and bad. Vegan makes me feel better. It doesn't make me feel better. What do you mean? What do you mean it makes me feel better? In what way? In what way does it make me feel better? Oat milk production kills many animals. Way less animals die from oat milk than your animal products. Morally superior. Well, yeah, because it's morally superior to stick up for animals and not be selfish. Is it not? It doesn't make me feel good. It's just a fact, right? It's just, yeah, it's morally superior. Israel or Palestine? Oh, stop it. Stop it. I'm so sick of that shit. It's such a distraction. Such a distraction. So divisive. Oh, which country are you rooting for? That's so divisive. As if, oh, these people are bad. We're all people. Nobody deserves to be hurt or harmed. Stop trying to be so divisive and so hateful. War is bad. Every war is bad. Every war is useless. Will you believe God is real when they put a chip in our hands and foreheads? A chip on our foreheads. Never heard of that before. Never heard of any green farmers killing animals. Well, yeah, that's a good point, Tim. There is no evidence that many animals die on these farms. That's not at all accurate. But regardless, if animals die on these farms, well, most farms are made for growing crops for the animals that you're killing. So, if anything, eating animal products is way more killing, is way more death. I'll use my chip in Vegas. That's ridiculous. the verse is, the Bible is such a vague book that people love to exploit the vagueness of it, the ambiguity of it. They'll just say, oh, well, this verse mentions the chips. Well, how do they know that? Oh, because there's a couple words that might correlate with a chip. There's no way of objectively verifying that, or there's no way of falsifying what the Bible actually means. It's just confirmation bias. Oh yeah, trust me, bro, the Bible said this, and this, and this, and this. The river dries up? Oh yeah, that's God, right? Every river dries up. Every river dries up. Anybody with a brainstem can predict that. And the chip is something, just another one of those claims. But more importantly, I think that there's something sad about what you're saying, right? When people make up these prophecies or about Revelation, oh, the end times are near. There's something sad there happening, because when I look around, I see a world where we are more abundant than ever before, more educated than ever before, more knowledgeable than ever before, more resourceful than ever before, more capable than ever before, less violent than ever before. There's less violence today, believe it or not, than any time in history. Less impoverished people than ever before. So, I don't see the end times. I see signs of very good times. It's just that the bad events are more more potent. The very few bad events that happen are more potent in the media. They get more coverage. They get more exposure. That's why it feels like there's a lot of bad things happening. And it's true that there's a lot of bad things happening, but the religious mentality is geared towards this notion of dread, right? Oh, we're the bad people. We're all deserving of death. This life is nothing without God. We're all gonna die soon. I just want to get raptured so I can be saved. I need saving. I'm worthless without God. The mark of the beast is everywhere. Oh no, look at this. Doja Cat just made a video of her naked. Oh no. Oh. That mentality is, to me, sad. When it's like the bubble boy, right? You're living in a bubble where everything outside of the bubble is icky. It's all bad and gross. No, it's not true at all. But religion has a way of distorting good and evil, distorting reality. Religion exploits the human emotion. Most people are scared. We want love. We want answers. We want justice. And religion offers these things. It claims to offer these things for us. And look how easy it is to obtain these things when you believe in God, right? When you imagine you have all these things. When you delude yourself into thinking that you have that you're going to get justice, that you're going to live forever, that you're going to get helped and guided by God, right? God is helping you. He is giving you rewards. When you delude yourself into this, it feels like, it feels good. It feels comfortable. But look at how destructive it can be when you realize that you don't have any of that. You know, I rather I'd rather be uncomfortable with reality than comfortable in delusion. You know, that's just how I've always been. I've always been the one who wants to know the truth. I've always been the one who is uberly curious about things. I was always the one. I've always had this mentality of, you know, wanting answers and asking questions, the right questions. So maybe it is something that only certain people have, but I don't know. It's one of the biggest questions I have. Is it normal to be inquisitive, or is it an anomaly? What do you think of the Israel conflict? I think it's stupid. I think it's a waste of time. I think it's completely religiously motivated. I think it's a distraction. I think that it is a failure of our society. I always seek knowledge. Yeah, well, we say we seek knowledge, but, you know, how do you do it? How do you do that? That's the bigger question to ask. How do you do that? What's your method? Distraction from what? I don't know. The larger issues. I'm not saying that the people who have lost their lives are somehow devalued. What I'm saying is, in general, when I look around the media, I see every news outlet covering the story. I see everybody's attention on this issue. I see, instead of worrying about, you know, climate change or the bigger issues, people are so consumed with which side they're on. That's a mistake. There is no side. There's no right side in this. War is never good, whatever side you're on. They're fighting for what? They're fighting for land. Look at how petty that is. They're fighting for land. You know, this picture I always look back at that picture, that pale blue dot. And when I look at these wars, especially this conflict here, I think the cosmic perspective just utterly dwarfs this conflict. It's so petty that they're fighting over a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a dot. Right? We're fighting over a fraction of a dot. And we're killing people for it. We're killing ourselves. Look at this. Look at how sad. Look at how ridiculous this is. It's so ridiculous when you understand the bigger picture. That's my point here. That there's a bigger picture happening. There's a bigger picture at hand that we're missing. And these conflicts when we are so focused on them, we lose sight on that bigger picture, which is to me always hindering our progression. It just proliferates this hindrance. I think it's wrong. It's wrong. It's not wrong to focus on that, but it's wrong to linger on these issues, you know, and pretend that these are the most important things when there's many other issues at hand that deserve much more attention. people are focused on the war, not because they care about the people. It's because it's exciting, right? The media just wants your attention, right? They want your views, they want your attention. So when they are coming up with stories, they look for the most exciting news story they can, right? Breaking news, right? They look for something exciting. So people looking at these videos of the war, they just do it because they think it's cool, right? Oh yeah, look, there's a tank. Ugh. That's sad. It's sad that people don't really care about the conflict. They care about the entertainment that it provides. The news media loves the attention it gives. It's just so sad how humans are, to me. So you wouldn't be sad if somebody took your house? It's not analogous because nobody owns land. Land isn't owed to a population of people because of their religion. That's why it's not analogous. It's a stupid fight. It's a stupid conflict. And I'm not going to give it any more attention. Just look at today and everybody's seeing the solar eclipse and being inspired. Yeah. Yeah. Reality is inspiring. People, that's the point. Another good point too. People often are so focused on this small things that they miss the bigger picture that is even more exciting. But I think that today people's minds are very, very bombarded. You know, social media has dominated the past 5, 6, 7 years. And as this grows and grows, we are being bombarded by more and more information. And our minds are becoming confused, right? We don't know what to believe. What is this guy saying? We're always learning something every day, right? It is hard. It is hard to stay clear and focused. That's why in today's world, especially, science literacy is at the utmost importance. That we all should be equipped with science literacy, because science has the ability to make your thought process clearer. I am not very affected by all this stuff, right? Because I'm literate in science and how truth works and how logic works. But for most people, imagine somebody who doesn't understand science being bombarded with all this information. Oh, Earth's flat, moon is flat, evolution fake, climate change fake, right? Climate change real. Everybody's saying different things. They're being bombarded. All these social media outlets, the wars, the things, the COVID, being like, people are losing sight on what is true or false because they don't understand the method. of getting or falsifying things. They've forgotten it, or they haven't learned it. So that's why today it is extremely important that people understand science more than ever. As the world becomes more complex, as the issues become more complex, we need to become more complex to match up, to keep up with the issues. If we don't adapt, we're going to go extinct. But I wonder if AI will have a role in this. I wonder how AI will happen. How that will occur. These next 30 years are going to be exciting to see how it plays out. So very dangerous. Very scary time, but also very exciting and hopeful for many reasons. Very amazing times to be alive is today. Amazing times to be alive. Amazing time to be alive. So many things that are possible. So many things that are happening. It's a privilege, honestly, to be alive during these times. Do you think AI will bring more people to science? Well, I don't know. That's the big question. Will AI help us or will it hurt us in that way? I mean, social media, the internet was supposed to be the thing that helped us educate people, right? That's what Steve Jobs loved the computer and the internet. He thought it was going to change education. But look what happened. The absolute opposite happened. The absolute opposite happened. Social media is a complete hindrance to education. Well, at least the way we do it. So we think AI, we have hopes that AI is going to help us, but I don't know. It's a big question to me. But in the long term, I think that it will help. But the question isn't will AI be scientific? The question is, will we survive? Will we be part of it? And I don't think we will. I don't think we will be part of it. I think that we will be irrelevant once AI starts to really become advanced. Once we reach ASI, it's over for us. Once AI becomes smarter than us, it's over for us. We are no longer relevant. And that moment is coming, I think. Perhaps within our lifetimes, I don't know, but there will be a massive change if AI becomes super intelligent as it's supposed to. But at the same time, I'd rather not have we be the ones that go to space and advance and progress forward. I'd rather be it somebody else who is less emotional. Every species that has ever lived before us are now extinct. That's how that's how life happens. That's how evolution happens. Maybe we're not meant to be here forever. Maybe there is progression that's required. I don't know. Maybe evolution is a necessary thing. You know? How do you think the commercial sector will help advance science technology? You mean space? You mean commercial space? What do you mean by the commercial sector? That there's a billion different commercial sectors. If humans become immortal, will we overpopulate? No. If anything, we would decrease in population because people will stop having babies. If we were immortal, we would not have babies. We wouldn't have kids anymore. There's no use to have kids. There's no purpose for having children. Have you heard of Antarctica? The ice wall. No, that's stupid. There's no ice wall. Commercial companies. What do you mean? Commercial companies. Like what do you mean? Like have you tried the new vegan nacho fries from Taco Bell? No, but I should try it. Sounds good. I haven't had fries in a long time. They're not really healthy for you, but I do like them once in a while. They're really good. Anyway, I gotta go.